You know, we talked all week about the true character of this football team will reveal itself and how we responded. And I'm very proud, again, of the men in that locker room and how we came out and played today against a good football team, a real good football team. And everything that we do starts up front. And to see us bounce back and run the ball like we did today for a record, a 320 franchise record, was impressive. Total yardage was 570. And then on the defensive side of the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage there and stopping the run with 45 yards. So proud of the men and how they came out and bounced back and played. Everything that we talk about is just one at a time. We're going to enjoy tomorrow with our families, enjoy Christmas. We're going to get back in here on Monday at 1 o'clock, put this game to bed, and get ready for Tampa. And our mindset is still the same. It's about winning the day. And with that, I'll take your questions.
You've talked about running the ball at this time of the year and how that wins games, and teams don't necessarily want to tackle. Is that kind of what happened today?
I can't really tell you in regards to their side. I can just tell you our guys were challenged. You know, we got embarrassed last week in so many fashions, and they bounced back and showed their true character and how we practiced this week, and most importantly, how we came out today and performed. Those guys up front accept the challenge. Offensive line I'm talking about, was coming off the ball. You know, Deontay, he had 165 yards rushing, very impressive. Chuba came in and did his job. You know, look at Raheem Blackshear, came in and did his job. So it was a collective effort across the board.
Schematically, so many of those big runs were right up the gut. What did you all see there, and what did you take advantage of?
Well, again, not trying to get into the schematics of it, I just think really our guys did a great job, you know, with coming off the ball, getting to the second level, which was the key for us. You're really trying to create that double team and come off on the linebackers. We always feel like our running backs, if they can get to the second level before they get touched, all right, they can do a great job in making that first guy miss, and you saw a little bit of that today.
You guys have been a ground and pound sort of offense, but the running game kind of had some finesse to it in this game. You let the offensive line get out in space. What does it say when a team can run multiple blocking schemes and kind of push their way upfield like you guys? Well,
I think you have to give a lot of credit to McAdoo and the offensive coaches. We constantly talk about trying to stay ahead of the curve, you know, trying to be a little innovative in the things that we are doing because we feel like we do have the personnel. And you saw a little bit of that today, you know, some of the window dressing, getting out on the perimeter, you know, with Blackshear going one way, and then all of a sudden here comes Laviska. So I like, you know, the creativity, and now we're just looking for that consistency moving forward.
A session ago with Chuba right off the bat, and he had those two big runs. What prompted you to go that direction instead of
It's not so much, again, David, like, you know, with Deontay being the starter. You know, like I said a long time ago, each guy has a different finesse and a different style, and that particular run that we wanted to go with first was just more suited for Chuba, and he did a great job in getting out there. I was looking for him to score, but great job of, you know, really kickstarting us to a good game.
You saw the forecast during the week. Did you think this set up as a good game where you could run the ball and them, as a more of a passing team, might struggle?
Didn't really look at it in regards to that because, you know, regardless of the weather, we felt like we were going to have to come in and establish the run. But the one thing that we did talk about in regards to not allowing it, you know, that's been somewhat the theme all year. We don't allow it to get in the way. We went out there and practiced outside yesterday with the walkthrough. It was extremely windy, and we went out there and faced it early on, so today wasn't going to be an issue for us.
Before you wanted Sam Darnold to run more. Of course, he had a 13-yard run in the first half. Of course, had the touchdown run. How happy were you with his game and what he also added to the run game too?
Very pleased with that because that's something that we felt like has been there for a couple of weeks, and just trying to encourage him to, you know, number one, to go through his progression and reads. You know, the end crashes down, pulling and come off the edge, which he did. Awesome job with the score, and then also just opportunities when he drops back. If it's open, don't be afraid to go get that first down. So very pleased once again with his performance. The biggest thing that we're seeing, guys, across the board, we're not turning the ball over, and that's the key with us. We always have a chance we can protect the football.
Was this game the best example of what you want to build as far as an identity with this franchise, considering the opponent, considering the circumstances?
I think identity definitely showed today in who we are at this present time, which is really, trying to establish the run. Again, I still feel like our strength is up front. And I'm proud of the way we bounced back this week, but we have to run the ball and off of that try to create, big plays over the top with our play action game.
Steve, a week ago this team gave up 12 of 16 third downs against the Steelers. What did it mean to not only get that turnover, but then have a stretch of 3 and outs against an offense that good?
It was good because I felt like it turned the game early on. We had 2 opportunities, 3rd and long, when we didn't get off the field. And it was like, okay, we can't go down this road again this week. We came up with a big turnover there, and the offense took the ball down the field. But, being able to get off the field on 3rd down was definitely the key today for us on defense.
Steve, you go into January now, win and you're in scenario. So you guys, can you just speak to how far you've come since kind of in the last 10 weeks since you've taken over?
Well, we've made progress. I think this team has definitely done some good things. We're still a long way away from where we're trying to be. Our mindset is still to try to stay in the moment. As I mentioned, we're going to enjoy tomorrow, come back on Monday, and get ready to go to work. So this team is still young in so many different ways. And I think, for me, being the head coach and being the leader of this team, I got to make sure I keep that in perspective and make sure our focus is where it needs to be.
A lot of young teams tend to take a blowout or a letdown pretty hard. It seems like this team constantly bounces back. What does that say about the young leadership in your locker room?
It says a lot about the leadership, starting with, Brian Burns, Taylor Moton, Shaq Thompson, those guys. And, even some of our younger guys, J.C. Horn, those guys have just really stepped up and gives us that guidance in the locker room that we need. So I wasn't concerned about how we're going to bounce back. I saw how we practice, and I saw the guys talking this week to one another, and our communication was just like over the top. So, we got embarrassed last week, and that took a lot of pride to come back and do the things that we did this week and to come out with a great performance as we did today.
Steve, you mentioned JC. He took a pretty big hit on that wrist. Any concern that he may have cracked it?
Don't know right now. We know it's a wrist. We're just going to wait and see exactly what happens with the MRI. So JC is a tough guy. So, hopefully, nothing serious is going to come of that.
An X-ray yet, do you know?
No, not yet.
Coach, when you are able to, run the ball down their throats like that, what does that do for the energy of the entire team and just the grit and the explosion that they play with on both sides of the ball?
I think you're right. It just creates that momentum throughout, and everybody gets excited. You see the defensive guys standing up, encouraging the offense, and it just really just fuels this team to go to another level. So, again, this time of the year, establish the run. Someone mentioned the weather in the cold. That's rough, tough, gritty. Everything that we're about.
Sam won with his feet early and then had some critical 3rd down throws, back-to-back games where he set season high in his passing totals. Can you just speak to the confidence it appears he's playing with?
I think each and every week you can see Sam taking the next step, that progression. I agree, Ellis. I think the confidence is there. You can see it with his ability to pull the ball down and run some. He's making accurate throws. We had one that, Terrace came up with a great throw down the sideline, and then another one where Sam put it on, and we got to come up with that. So Sam is doing some good things. He's running the offense efficiently, but the one thing I keep going back to, he's protecting the football. Merry Christmas.